Сейчас у меня будет небольшое интервью с человеком, который изучает английский язык. Вы уже видели несколько, и если предыдущие разговоры нельзя было считать учебными материалами, то это видео я рекомендую всем фанатам британского языка, потому что сегодняшняя наша ученица на самом деле родилась и живет в Англии, не говорит ни на каком иностранном языке, кроме английского, но при этом постоянно совершенствуется, изучает различные паблики в интернете, смотрит, как можно преподавать английский. В общем, сейчас вы сами все увидите. Okay, so shall we start? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. And that's,
Okay.
well, it's not like an interview, we are just chit-chatting, okay? So be relaxed, you can eat and smoke and, I don't know, swim in the swimming pool.
I like to stay professional.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
My name is Sasha Quinn and I live in Leicester in the United Kingdom. I'm 21 years old. I study law at the University of Leicester. And I live in Leicester, a beautiful city. It's known for its history of finding the dead king Richard III. But that's all it's really achieved in those terms. More about myself, I study law at the University of Leicester. I'm on my break at the minute now, and I sometimes help people with some English terms and the English language all around VK and things like that, so that people can understand things a bit better.
Okay, thank you. That's interesting. How come you are on VK?
So the reason I joined VK is because I had a project at university, and it was mainly about different social media sites online. People use different sites across the world, so we have Facebook and then we have the Russian site VK. So I joined the site really as a sort of introduction to my university project and just learning how people communicate across the world, and other people learning the English language as well.
Okay, and do you speak, so what languages do you speak, sorry?
Only English, a tiny bit of Russian, but very, very poorly, unfortunately. It's not great at all, I can give you that much.
I see, I love the quote. If you have a British accent, you never shut up. That's so true, so true.
Everyone loves a British accent, that can't be denied.
Okay, so and you see a lot of people who study English, who teach English. Well,
Yeah.
Can you tell something about it? Like, just what do you think about it?
In the UK, I'd say the English teaching is it's to a high standard, it's to a high degree. Teaching online is sometimes a bit troublesome because you have teachers online, especially on VK as well, who are still learning the English language themselves, and it's great where you have sites and you have people who are so eager to teach other people to learn, but it's also about taking a step back and maybe looking at your own English and how you can improve it yourself, because I speak quite good English. I was born in the UK, but at the same time we always have something to learn. So in the UK the speaking level and how we teach is quite high, but it's about learning yourself. It's how you progress it forwards in the language. So you could be from the UK, for example, and you could be learning English. You could be from Russia learning English. It all depends on how consistent you are, how much work you put into learning, improvising and making your speech better and making it more fluent so people can understand you and really communicate efficiently.
So, what are the things you like most and you probably dislike most, or you like least?
As in terms of the English language.
Just in teaching, I don't know, or probably in content you see online.
I would say some of the things that I like seeing, when people are reposting other English videos I do like fluent speakers. I think from fluent speakers, especially pronunciation and just how we say the words, I think that's really important for non-British speakers, non-American speakers, because what people mainly struggle with is how they're saying the words. So how you may think the words are coming across to another person, you're saying the same words, but how you actually take them across and put them across may come off differently, and that's how you notice an accent. So one of the things I like the most is people teaching, you know, pronunciation, different sort of enunciations, and how to really put the language across. Sorry. One of the things I dislike is ill-informed teachers, people who aren't to a higher degree themselves, teaching others, because you could be teaching other people mistakes and thinking that is actually how you speak, and you actually have that in your head, that sort of thought, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be, when in reality there's no one there to correct you on them sort of things. So it's really not so much not having confidence, but always being able to understand where you can learn more, as I said before in my last point. Yeah.
Wow. And you said something that you were teaching online as well? Do you teach English?
I do a tiny bit. I don't do teaching as much. I do a little bit where I help people out and stuff, you know, in different areas where they're asking questions like, how would you say this? Where would you put this word in this? And just try to give people examples of where they can use different sorts of English techniques in different sort of literature and writing and everyday speech altogether, really.
And do you travel a lot?
Travelling, I travel sometimes. I've been on a trip with my university, but it wasn't an out of the UK trip. It was only really in the UK. It was a little village that we went to. It's part of a sort of trip. But other than that, I haven't travelled a lot, no. I would love to travel to Russia, St. Petersburg especially, and Moscow. It's some of the most beautiful cities I've heard and seen. And I think English people have this really sort of, they have this weird sort of focus on Russia in general. And I think it is really to do with the media, how the media portrays Russian people. But I think, you know, some Russian people, some of the nicest people that I've ever met. You won't get this sort of conversation down the street in England somewhere. So yeah, some of the people are very friendly, and that's somewhere I would really love to visit when I'm not older, when I have a bit more money and, you know, a bit more time on my hands.
Do you agree that the English people in general are quite lazy, well, in the sense of studying languages?
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that statement. They definitely are, and I think they're a bit proud, to be honest, and a bit egotistical when it comes to the language, because they were born, you know, they were born understanding the English language, which is such a widely used language, and it's such a popular language as well, which a lot of people want to learn if they don't know English. So yeah, I think they are very lazy when it comes to languages. They think, oh, I was born, I know how to speak, people understand me. But for me, it's not just how you speak, it's how you put things across to people. And English is much more deeper than just talking to others. It's analysing language, it's making things sound amazing and beautiful in such different descriptive words, and it's really understanding that. So yeah, I would definitely say that English people are lazy, yes. And I think Russian people, from what I've seen from VK, Russian people are a lot more determined to learn the language than, say, an English person would in a regular English classroom.
Okay, so and you consume a lot of content about their teaching and about, I don't know, just like, what are the best examples of, you know, of something you see online? What do you really recommend to use?
I would really recommend, you know, just maybe American TV shows, British TV shows, things that you can really enjoy whilst watching and learning. It's hard when you see people stuck in a classroom, you know, writing and reading all these things. It kind of puts down morale, and it kind of makes people less confident about learning a language. I would say if you're really confident, try to start off with the basics. If you're at a very, very, very low level, start off with the basics and try to find something where you can put the English language into that and have fun at the same time. So things I would recommend is definitely things like BBC Bite Size. That's an English UK website that we have, and it starts from the very lowest and it goes all the way to the top. American TV shows, British TV shows, anything where you can listen and that you can engage yourself and really try to interpret the language and also have a good understanding of it.
How does the American language sound for you?
I think all British people have a sort of about American people, you know. we originated the language, and these people have all of it, you know.
We originated the Americans.
They've taken it all from us, and we're the one who made it up. But yeah, the American sort of dialect, it doesn't bother me too much. I like hearing it. It's a bit strange.
That was rude, you know, about the dialect part. No, sorry, I interrupted. Yeah, go on.
No, that's fine. When I was in London, there was a like a family of American tourists. It was like, "Oh, Daddy, I want a donut, a crisp," and I was like, "What?" It was so strange to hear it in real life. You hear it a lot in movies and everywhere, like all over the TVs, but to hear it in real life is really, really strange. Yeah, it is weird, but I don't dislike the language. I don't dislike the dialect. I haven't really got major opinions of it, but yeah, it's you choose which one you want to focus on, really. The English language, you're interpreting American English and British English, and you've got to combine them two together to really get a good sense and grip of it.
Okay. And, well, is it confusing when somebody uses different words? I mean, words from different languages. I mean, such as an apartment and a flat. You know what I mean? Like banana, tomato. It's confusing.
Yeah, I can understand what you mean by that. Yeah. For me, there's not much confusion. Obviously, as I am a British speaker, but for other learners, it may be kind of difficult if they don't understand one word in, say, American English to, say, compared another word in British English, like apartment, flat. I would understand it, but it may be difficult for other learners to understand that. That's why it's always good to have an incorporation of both languages, so you get the full round picture of what a person is saying.
Nice. And when I was in England, I was pretty shocked with, like 2 taps, like, just, that was so confusing. Do you still use that?
It's in the phone boxes.
No, I mean, like tap for water, I mean. Like there are 2 taps in the sink. Well, do you still use them like that?
And you see it everywhere. I haven't actually got one in my house, but my old house that I used to live in, I did have them taps, and they are very, very, very common around the UK. You see them everywhere, and it's really weird. It is strange. I don't know who came up with that idea. I don't see how it's logical, sensible.
And what is the thing which is like must be known? Like what does the person just have to know before traveling there?
I would definitely say one of the biggest things is always queue up properly. Queuing is a big thing in the UK. Don't skip someone in the queue. Don't do that. It's like a law. It should be a law for me. I get angry when people skip queues. It is a big thing here. Always queue up properly. Try to be as polite as possible, especially if you're in London as well, because that's a major tourist attraction and everyone's really busy in London. London's just a very busy place in general, so you just be polite, stay out of people's way, and make sure you never turn an Englishman down on a drink. That's what you need to do. Never say no to a pint.
I see. And the last question, though, people... the Russians tell that Moscow is a different thing, the country is another one. Is it the same about London and England, or just the UK?
Yeah, 100%. That is very, very true. London is a very, very different area to other areas in Britain. You can go to London, for example, and it's very vibrant, it's very busy, it's loads of people there, everyone's doing something at one time. Whereas, say, if you went to, say, another city, it's still going to be busy, but there's a difference about it. When you're going to a very busy tourist sort of attraction, there's all sorts of people, and especially there's a lot of crime in areas like that as well. So London is a beautiful place for tourism, but it doesn't mimic or it doesn't reflect what the UK is as a whole. The UK is very different compared to London. It's not as modern, you know. We don't have these great things as we do in London. When I went to London myself, I didn't even think it was London. I was like, I feel like I'm in New York or somewhere like that. It's very different to outer sort of areas. The more north you go, the more modern it gets in a sort of way. So yeah, it is very different, and it's I would say I agree. In Moscow, it probably would be very different to the whole of Russia as a whole. And even though the UK isn't a very big area, it still is very, very different the further out you go from such a busy tourist attraction such as London, yeah.
You know, I believe you just explore the world now for people who are about to speak English well, about to study it, and it's so great, it's so amazing. So just
thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
I would just say if you put your all out there, if you really do try and you take that time to really improve, you can do great things with that language, and it opens up so many opportunities for you.
Thank you very much, and so I hope you will be helping later, just with something, with everything. Yeah, so thank you very much. That's such a great opportunity to be online with you today, and so see you later.
Yeah,
bye.
It was really nice to speak to you. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, thanks.
And I'll speak to you in a bit.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Bye, take care.
Bye. Take care, bye.
Ну, видите, как на самом деле все просто. Если знаешь английский язык, то открываешь рот и говоришь. И самое главное, что? Произношение. Конечно, грамматику мы изучим, конечно, новые слова мы выучим, но если мы будем их произносить как попало, то нас никто не поймет и диалог не состоится. Какие у вас были удачные находки во время изучения английского? Какие у вас были неудачные, может быть, моменты? Делитесь своими эмоциями, чувствами, всем чем угодно. Пишите комментарии, задавайте вопросы. До связи.